We all know that Pokemon is home to some really odd evolutions and family trees. For example, 8 Pokemon share the category the Dragon Pokemon, suggesting their relation. The Pokédex states Sizzlipede and Skorupi are close relatives, and the tried and true, a fish that becomes a full-on octopus. And yes, I do know what Remoraid looked like in its original design. I do get the evolutionary idea. Doesn't make it any less weird to have a fish become an octopus. Of course, there are many more that we could talk about, but we aren't here to talk about all those examples today. We are here to talk about one in particular, how 3 Pokemon, all supposedly from space, seem to share many common characteristics, and could all be forms or evolutions of the same Pokemon. Heads up, this theory is about to get real weird, so buckle up and let's get into it. For some of you, this isn't the first time that you have heard that Starmie and Deoxys share a lot of similarities. There are even other videos on YouTube on that exact subject, and Bulbapedia itself even talks about these common traits. But for those of you that are new to this theory, let's touch on the key points. The reddish color core that seems to be extremely important to survival and communication for both species. These cores seem to be what control their psychic powers and be where their brains are located. They all have incredible regeneration powers and moves to demonstrate those abilities. Deoxys is shown to have different colored cores, and Starmie is shown through the Pokédex to also have many different colored cores. But wait, how many different colors does the Pokédex say that the core Starmie has? Let me check for you. Oh yes, of course. 7. Man, I wonder if there is another Pokemon that had a core that shines brightly with a variety of 7 colors. Wait a minute, what is this? Oh, it's a segue. How convenient. This is where the theory starts to get crazy. Not only could Starmie and Deoxys be related, but I think that Minior is also a contender to be in this family mix. As I just stated, the first hint is that Minior has a core of 7 colors. Very similar to the 7-colored core that the Pokédex states Starmie has. Unfortunately, we've never gotten to see all these forms in action, but the point still stands. We also know from Pokemon Sun and Moon anime that Minior will eventually get too heavy due to their shells and come crashing to the earth, which then exposes their core. It is demonstrated that these Pokemon cannot survive for long while they lack a shell. But what if instead of landing on the ground, Minior landed in the ocean, crashing to the bottom of the sea and being kept there due to the immense pressures? Perhaps the shell that they form from minerals would look a little different, using the minerals from the sea rather than the minerals from space. It would still keep its star shape, of course, but it would develop slightly differently. Over time, it could even cause these Pokemon to change type to respond to its new environment, a phenomenon that we have seen does occur thanks to the regional forms of Alola, Galar, and Hisui. Perhaps Staryu and Starmie are Minior that crashed into the ocean and made a new shell. One that doesn't break so easy and one that has a gem in the middle to protect the Minior inside. Or perhaps long ago the Minior that crashed slowly developed into new Pokemon named Staryu and Starmie. Minior are shown to be able to recover their shell quite fast, which would also show how Staryu and Starmie have such amazing recovery abilities. Let's not forget that there are many entries in the Pokédex about Staryu and Starmie both being from space, and the fact that they try to communicate with the stars using the lights of its core and radio waves. So we have hypothesized why Starmie is related to Deoxys, and how Starmie is related to Minior, but how is Minior related to Deoxys? Well, let's theorize. We all know how Deoxys came to be. There was a virus on a meteor, humans were like, we should shoot that rock, and then pew 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 with a laser, and the radiation of said virus on said meteor became our lovable Deoxys. However, they never really go into too much description of the meteor the virus was on. Perhaps it wasn't just your average meteor. There is the chance that it was actually the meteor Pokemon, Minior. If a Minior was inflicted with a virus, for example, Pokérus, which we know exists in universe and then was blasted by radiation, perhaps the Pokemon would go all Marvel Comics on us, and due to the conditions of the stat boosting virus in conjunction with the radiation would transform into the mighty Deoxys. I don't want to get too much into this part, but I really think that Deoxys is what brought Pokérus to Earth and infected Earth Pokemon with it, but that is a different video for another time. So subscribe if you want to see that at some point. Back to the points at hand though. We see that Deoxys, like Minior, keeps its true self at its core. It can regrow parts of its body at a quick pace. And one final point. If I say, the Pokemon that hates Deoxys, what Pokemon comes to mind? I am sure that you immediately thought Rayquaza, as most people do. I really wish that there was a way to connect Rayquaza and Minior, but I guess I am just out of luck. Oh wait! What does the Pokédex say about Minior? It says that it is food for stronger Pokemon in the ozone layer. And what does Rayquaza's Pokédex entry say? Oh, that it lives in the ozone, eating meteors. We also get to see in the Pokemon anime that when Minior fades into dust to ascend back to the heavens, who showed up to eat that dust? A Rayquaza. So perhaps Deoxys and Rayquaza have such a feud because Deoxys is like a superpowered version of Rayquaza's lunch. This would also explain why we always see Deoxys appearing to run from Rayquaza and why Rayquaza always appears to be the aggressor. He sees Deoxys not just as a threat, but as a food source, and he will do anything to catch his prey. All these factors would tie Staryu, Starmie, Minior, and Deoxys all into one great big family tree. Of course, this is just a fun theory and nothing confirmed by the Pokemon Company, but it's always fun to theorize, isn't it? I want to thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button as there are some awesome videos in the works. Don't forget to like this video, and I will catch you guys next time when the adventure continues.